Hi everybody, thanks for being with me today. I'm Lynn with Plasma Energy Solution, and this is June 8th, I believe, of 2020. Today I'd like to share some information with you. A little bit is about the shungite that we use, and the other is about a little bit of information about Gans. And first of all, I'll just go over the information on Gans. And very first of all, I'm with Plasma Energy Solution, and thanks for being here. Okay, so Gans is a container for plasma. And to be able to explain plasma, we have to be able to explain Gans. Gans is gas in the atomic nano-solid state. And as I've shown in many videos, when I have a jar, there looks to be like a colored or a white powdered element in the bottom of the jar of water. And that is the Gans. It is the fourth state of matter, together with the states of solid, liquid, and gas. Certain atoms and molecules release and or absorb magnetic and or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. A way has been developed in which to gather these free-flowing fields from the environment with a usable substance which is called Gans, gas in the atomic nano-solid state. So in essence, Gans is a container for plasma energy. An organism, for example, will emit fields it wants to separate itself from or rid itself of, and will absorb fields that it can use or that it has an urgent need for. The prerequisite is that the appropriate fields for absorption must be available within the immediate environment of that organism. Gans is a substance that exists in a special state of aggregation, the formation of a number of things into a cluster. That's what the aggregation is. Different types of Gans can be created with different desirable energetic properties that can be used individually or in a combination for different applications. Each type of Gans has a specific field strength depending on the chemical elements within that Gans. With this technology, the self-healing powers of the organism, and that can be people, pets, or plants when we're talking about organism, are supported at the level of the fields that build in the people, pets, or plants. Therefore, the need for chemical agents and processes are not required because healing occurs at the level of magnetic field interaction. The nanostate of a captured and concentrated gas is already in the magnetic gravitational plasmatic state, which radiates out to its own spinning magnetic plasmatic energy fields, just like the sun, while drawing in gravitational plasmatic fields. A container of Gans essentially contains millions of suns within it. The spinning energy is directed by intentionally placed magnetic and gravitational nano-coated coils, and those are the coils that were used for what was called MagRav units, which were part of the early research that Dr. Paul and I were studying. We now know that Gans is another state of matter at its atomic level. It is the closest thing to source energy in the experience at this moment, and it vibrates at a perfectly balanced frequency. Gans can be used to attract and repel, or can be used to bring another smaller field into balance. It holds a perfectly tuned note or notes that enable the body systems to retune or to come into focus. Certain atoms and molecules release and or absorb magnetic and or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. The scientific foundation that did a lot of this research can be found on the internet, and that is the foundation and the scientists that Dr. Paul and I studied with for quite a few years. And these are still public teachings that are available weekly. They're generally 4 hours once a week, and you'll find them under the title of Knowledge Seeker Workshops. Different types of GANs can be created with different desirable energetic properties that can be used individually or in combination for different applications. Each type of GANs has specific field strength depending on the chemical elements within the GANs. So when you see all these combinations that we have, and sometimes the single GANs that we have, every one of them has gone through a certain process that brings in that gas in the atomic nano-solid state. Some of these things take maybe up to 3 months to develop the GANs. Some of them may take 5 or 6 months. So it's not just an instant overnight thing when you're developing the different products. And when Dr. Paul started all this, there was a lot of focus on space travel and free energy. His background was veterinary medicine, and he was an out-of-the-box thinker in the way that he practiced. So it wasn't a real stretch for him to see, well, gosh, there are certain combinations here, as it was coming out in the workshops, that seemed to be helping people. So he redirected his focus into what are the energies that can be used for helping the body to come into balance so it can heal itself. And those are all the things that we spent time and effort developing. So when you see a combination of things, your body is going to pick and choose the energies that it needs at any given time. A question I had recently from someone is, why do my plants look so good when I'm using something that has an addition of the new tech frequency relief with it? And I want to share a couple things with you about the Shungite, because the Shungite is part of what was developed with new tech frequency relief. And the Gans was made of Shungite and silver, Gans, and other things in the combination. Shungite is found near the small village of Shung'a in Russia. It's a remarkable mineral known to be formed naturally more than 2 billion years ago from living single-cell organisms. It has been used in Russian healing therapies since the times of Peter the Great. Shungite consists almost everything on the periodic table of elements, as well as fullerenes, the hollow carbon-based molecules that recent research shows are able to slow both the growth of cancer cells and the development of the AIDS virus. Citing many double-sided scientific and medical studies on Shungite, Regina Martino explains many protective, healing, and detoxifying properties, including the ability to counteract the harmful effect of the electromagnetic fields and radiation from computers, cell phone, Wi-Fi, and other electronic devices and appliances. Acting as a natural antioxidant, immune booster, pain reliever, and allergen suppressant, Shungite and Shungite water can be used to treat skin ailments and musculoskeletal diseases, accelerate the healing of cuts and wounds, cleanse internal systems, and increase the body's intake of total vital energy. Detailing Shungite's many microelements and biologically active substances, the author Martino reveals how stones have been proved to purify and revitalize water. And that revitalization of the water could be why somebody discovered that it helped with the plants. So I want to show you the front of this book so you can see where I'm getting this information. And then there was one short section, and this was out of chapter 5. Shungite is not a passing fancy. It's true that it has come upon with a force and speed of lightning bolt, but the history in relation with humankind has endured for hundreds of years or even more, as indicated by numerous sacred Neolithic sites on the area of Lake Onega. Russian scientists have been studying it for a long time, but the Second World War interrupted this research for many years. Since the 1960s, however, doctors and Russian researchers have established new research protocols in order to test the validity of the properties of Shungite on human health. It is worth mentioning that the isolation of the Soviet world from Western influence meant that for decades it was spared the overpowering domination of many multinational companies. Thus, the Russian researchers were able to profit from their relative isolation by developing scientific research independently while retaining the disinterested curiosity of legitimate scientists. So that's just part of what is available in the information on Shungite, and I happen to have a Shungite magnet that I've put on my paw bracelet, and so those are some of the energies that I can keep with me. And we have the Shungite phone magnets. We have them that we've developed for TVs, computers, Wi-Fi routers, your printers, your anything electronic, even when you go into the kitchen and it's the microwave oven. So if it emits any electronics, then the Shungite magnets are appropriate for it. And the Shungite magnets, we have a larger one that can be put on the inside of your house on your electric power box. And I just have ours on the door that faces out into the room. So I just wanted to share a little of that with you today on the Shungite and on the Gans making, because there are a lot of questions about that. One question I've had recently, and there was something I was watching yesterday, and it was about the effect of the masks that are being worn. And when we're breathing the air, we're breathing a mixture of air. It isn't just straight oxygen. So CONH, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen. Well, if part of that mixture of air is oxygen, say between 20 and 25%, when we put a mask on our face, now what we're breathing is what we're exhaling, which is our body utilize the oxygen, and it's exhaling carbon monoxide. So just think about that, and think about your utilization and your timing of covering over like this. And there's you know, there's been some people who've had an impact on their health because of breathing back in the waste products of the whole inhalation expiration process. Another question I've had, you notice CONH, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen. Carbon is very compatible with our bodies. Carbon is what is used by the trees when they're developing and growing and adding to the bark and everything like that. So for us to say, oh, we must get rid of carbon, well, if trees take in carbon and give out oxygen, is that a great idea? I personally like having lots of trees around me. So that's just another thing to think about. There's in the studies in the workshops, it came up about, oh my goodness, carbon. What if it's plastic, and is that going to be harmful? Well, if we're made of carbon, then is the plastic going to be harmful? And there are people who get all in a twit about, oh, I don't want plastic vials. I must have glass vials. Listen, folks, those glass vials have plastic lids. Let's get real. Yes, they're glass. Yes, they look nice, but let's remember, look nice isn't our first goal with our plasma energy. Functionality, intention of the outcome, how it's benefiting the people, plants, and pets, that's what we're after. So when the seasons change, when you see plastic vials, or when you receive, if you're outside of the country, or let's say somebody made a pair of patches for you out of the formula they have, well, guess what? It might be going in a plastic baggie. Oh my, and it might have plastic packing tape on it. Just remember, the plasma energy is what you're after. And the energy fields are going to travel through the plastic. They're going to travel through the glass. So that's what we're after. And don't get all caught up in the matter state of, is this off-gassing? Is this doing this? Is this doing that? Use your intention. Use your plasma energy. Use it to benefit the people, the pets, and the plants in your lives. Well, I want to thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I do want to remind you about our special this month. It is the Dream Big special, Dr. Paul's Dream Big. He was never afraid to dream big. And with that Dream Big, there are several things that you can get. You can get a combination of the specials, so please go to the website, plasmaenergysolution.com, and take a look at everything that's in Dream Big. I think you'll be pretty amazed by what it has to offer for you. So I want to thank you again. Give me a thumbs up, and please do share this with your friends. And remember, it's plasmaenergysolution.com. Thank you.